I just did about 20 minutes worth of a reading, and it didn't even save. It's like glitched. I don't even know what to tell you about that. Holy moly. I've always felt like when I'm really like the most tapped in, tuned in, turned on, like lights flicker, like the whole Stranger Things. No, I'm just kidding. But honestly, I'm starting this at 11:17. This is the card. This is the number 17 energy reading. And I just poured my heart out. I just poured out some stuff, and it didn't even save. That's unbelievable. That one was for me. That was just for me. But now I want to share it with you, as much of it as I can really like recall and feel into authentically. But you may be able to tell, like, I'm a little, I don't know, my vibe is shifted. I feel a little, I'm here with my buddy boy. He's snoozing. It's a very gloomy day, but that's not really what's affecting me. I'm just coming to you fresh after what some people might call a breakdown. I think that I'm enough on the other side of that hump, that hill, to know that it's actually a break open. And what I trust and love about being broken open is that it makes room for expansion. It makes room for new things, for so much. And I think at the heart of, and you know, as much as I'm doing a 17 reading, I'm also doing an energy reading as well, of like what's going on energetically for my collective. And I'm glad that you're here and that you feel as though you're part of my orbit. That means a whole lot to me. I think at the heart of our breakdown, is the heart. And I don't know if you're breaking down right now, but we're definitely breaking down a lot of beliefs, a lot of identities, a lot of things that used to show up for us collective are being really broken down so that it can take a new shape, right? And what I've been feeling into for the collective for quite some time now is some very deep heart healing. And this is a doozy of a time for us collective. Venus retrograde is asking us to do this work, whether we feel like we're ready for it or not. But 17 shows up to tell us that we are on the right path. And you know, we might have had some moments that had us feeling really open and vulnerable, and that is a very challenging place to come from, but it's also a very rewarding and powerful place to come from. And I'm talking about heart healing, opening up the heart space, like reaching that heart behind the heart of hearts, like your deepest heart space, and letting that be permeated fully with like beautiful love and connection. And, this space is so powerful, and it allows us to reach our lower and upper energies, right? Because it's really it's centralized, and allows us to really feel that full alignment and feel like we're fully in receptivity with not just love in the very typical way that we think of it, but also in receiving life, receiving inspiration, receiving spiritual insight, receiving spiritual connection. Actually, I spoke to somebody late October when I was going through it, and they were pretty gnarly, just being very what was it called? A breakthrough coaching session. And they were intending to break it down for me, okay? And they were explaining to me that these things are very deeply connected, feeling deeply connected to our purpose, a spiritual connection, a higher power, often really relates to how deeply we're connecting to other people. And, we are, in my belief, we're all the universe experiencing itself. We're all divinity experiencing itself. So, of course we have to have that connection to both and feel that connection with both aspects of, of those things in life. And I feel like nothing speaks to that more than the number 17 of just you are on the right path. And I was saying before with that other audio, sometimes that's really frustrating when you are not liking what your current situation is looking like. And it feels frustrating when it's synchronistically showing up, and you're just this is my path. This is the path for me. Okay, cool. But when I'm able to feel like I'm coming from a more empowered place of curiosity, of okay, I can really trust and believe that this is my path. What am I really supposed to be doing here with all that I've experienced, with all that I've overcome, with all that I am learning? What does this set me out for? And it kind of, to me, speaks to divine timing. And even though I have so many instances, similarly, it's this is my path. It's divine timing. It almost feels wrong place, wrong timing. But life has proven to me time and time again that timing is such a significant thing right now. 27 might be significant. Life has shown me over and over that divine timing is really so much a thing for me. I've seen it happen so many times in so many ways. And the thing with being on our path and feeling like our path is very much fated for us, we still have free will in our choices. And something that was coming through, and I don't want any people who I look up to spiritually to feel like I'm leeching off their messages or anything, so I'm going to try and word it a little differently, because it actually has been coming through in many different avenues. And I'm okay, when I keep seeing things showing up for me and I'm getting lots of other symbols and signifiers, I'm okay, it's time for me to feel into this energy and really get the full reading and the full scope on this. I love to have intuitive guidance and insight, but I 1010 on the timestamp. I really need to make sure that I'm not ever in a place of like, I feel like I need to rely on others, and that like I can always fully and truly be coming from my own intuition instead of being influenced by outside sources. And even if these are like, you know, high vibrational, very like beautiful oracles, like this is speaking to the number 17. This is my path. Like I need to be in connection to my path and my insights for this path. You know, so divine timing, 1057 is the number when I started the last reading, and it was the time when I started the last reading, and it's a number that's been showing up a lot as well. I'd be interested to know if that was like a verse or something. 1057 has been showing up as significant for me for a while now, so I don't know what that's about. I'm going to have to look into the meaning behind that. Maybe I'll throw it in the description. And divine timing, you know, can feel really frustrating, but overall, it's more so, it can feel really shitty, but overall, right, Joy Boy? Overall, there is something for us on that path, and we are where we're meant to be. And yeah, I just got a letter speaking to divine timing. I happen to be at my family's home. I've been feeling like I just needed to be around family. I needed to be around my dog. I needed to be around just peace and quiet, to be honest. I wanted to get out of my apartment building and connect back to a more simple me and my roots. And yeah, you know, going back doesn't always have to be a bad thing. You know, I think there's always going to be like a very cyclical nature to life. And, you know, the more we resist revisiting things, we might be missing out on an opportunity to really, let's find out. Tie up loose ends. Tie up loose ends. Tie up loose ends. Seal the deal. Tie the knot. I don't know, whatever one wants to show up for you in your in your path, right? And yeah, this letter is like so speaking to divine timing. Just I'm at my family's home, and I was with my grandfather, and at first I'm not feeling my best self at the moment. I'm really shedding the skins. I'm mourning in general. I'm mourning a friend that is no longer with us, and mourning this version of what I thought things were going to look like for myself. Mourning, you know, the way my relationships are changing. And I, due to family dynamics, developed a coping mechanism of wanting to pull away when I'm not like my quote unquote best self. And that's something I've been working through, with the whole conversation of heart space healing. And I know that my collective is very much on that, like, same wavelength with that. And knowing that, like, we're worthy, even when we make mistakes, even when we're not in our best self, even when we may not even like ourselves, that's when we need people most, because they can like us for us until we get back to, remembering all the beautiful and great things about ourselves. And I'm really glad that I stayed open to that conversation with him, and he gave me a letter that had arrived in the mail. And just looking at the date it was sent, and then when it arrived, and then him handing it over to me, because I was literally here having my breakdown, breaking open, like with my family, just feeling very, like, vulnerable. And it's just, like, so interesting, like where I was and how I was feeling, and like what I don't know, it's just so interesting. And it makes me just sort of give it up to God, because, like, this, that is divine timing. That's a timing all on its own highest and greatest good. I can't. What I also like to think about is, like, how if you're ever, like, cooking or baking or something with, like, a little kid, and they have, like, the most pure, innocent, good-hearted intention to, like, help you make this thing, and they are like, yeah, like, it's gonna be an awesome cake, or it's gonna be an awesome like, whatever. And then, they have, like, they don't have enough control of their hands yet, and, like, they're dumping too much stuff in, or, like, they're sticking to stuff, and they've got, like, cat hair in it, and it's just like, ugh, yeah, this is gonna be the best cupcakes we've ever had, And it's just kind of the way that I like to look at things when I think, like, I really have a full say or a full perspective of how life is going to go or how things are going to turn out. I just can never fully know. And there's a little bit of a fear that shows up, right? Because it's like, what? Like, even if I plan every detail down to a science, like, it's still not up to me completely. And that can be a lot of fear that shows up with that, especially if, you feel any kind of, like, wanting to control things is, like, your natural way of operating. But we can try to, like, fall into this trust of, oh my goodness. Yeah, that's my dog. Joy Boy. Oh my goodness. Snoozing. He's a hound dog. And this is his God-given right, okay, to snooze to his heart's content. Even on, like, warm, sunny, like, spring, summer days, if he's outside, like, if there's a cloud in sight, he will be laying down and he will be snoring. This is just his favorite thing. Oh my gosh. So anyway, I like to think of that metaphor of, like, we think we might know how things are going to turn out, and we really want them to go this way, and it's supposed to look like this, and if it doesn't go like this, then it's wrong, and it's blah, blah, blah. But that's just us sticking our little kid fingers into the mix, and sometimes we need to, like, trust that the divine is hands in the mix as well, is really what's actually kind of, setting forth all of the right measurements and all of the right ingredients, because when we're like a little kid and we don't really know what we're doing, we don't know that like eggs and flour are like supposed to be in, something that's like delicious. It's just like, what? Like, ew, but okay. But, we have to just trust in that outcome. And the divine number of 17 is kind of asking us for that, to really trust and believe in your path and your highest and greatest good, even when you are like into the thick of it. And the wind is howling, the wind chimes are chiming, Troy Boy is snoring. I was really hoping that there would be like birds and wind chimes, and you are just getting straight up snoring background of my dog. Yeah. So is life. Isn't that right, buddy boy? He just looked at me like, you don't get to say anything about my snoring. So the number 17 is really asking us to just trust and believe that you are where you are supposed to be. So let's pull some cards on what wants to show up. Oh, and the other wild thing about the last audio that I was recording before it completely glitched out on me, the first card that popped out was 17. And it made me extremely emotional, and I went to hit pause, and that's when I realized that the whole thing was glitched. So that was wild. Card 17 popped out. And this card is represented by the key. Opportunity. Keys open doors. And it's on a key ring, and it's got this little keychain with like a little planet on it, and it's the planet of Saturn. And I just find that to be extremely symbolic and beautiful to also represent the number 17, because Saturn is the planet of karma, and karma can be a scary idea if we feel like maybe we've made mistakes, or maybe we haven't always given our best self to something, but overall, karma really just speaks to the cyclical nature of life. And it really speaks to important, pivotal moments that often we'll have to revisit in some way, some shape, and some form. Negative, positive, it's just the cyclical nature and the way of things. Just as each planet orbits, like cycles, rotations, things coming back around. There's nothing to be fearful of, or nothing to be fearful of. And even more so when we are living in our highest and greatest good. Something else that I was sharing in my, that card wanted to come out as well. So the cyclical nature of things, and just knowing that sometimes, it's not, you don't have to be afraid of that. Like, there's a need to tie up loose ends, a need to seal the deal, or tie the knot. Like, whatever way you want to look at it, it was represented by the red string. And some things just need to be brought to a close, and it's okay to sometimes go backwards and look backwards or look towards the past, and have things repeated so that you can truly revisit things and have things, have cycles fully reach completion so that you can kind of now move on to, a new cycle, because that's the nature of life and that's just the nature of things. And just want to see if anything else wants to show up. But the other message that was coming through in the last reading was something that was shared with me when I was going through trauma therapy, and felt very much like lost and unsure of what direction I wanted to head in, because I had gone through an experience where I survived something that I might have really, I'm not going to say I wasn't supposed to, but it was very close to. And I was given really a second opportunity at life, and because of that, I might come on with a little bit of intensity, because to me, I don't want to waste a moment. I don't want to waste any moments. I don't want to waste any second chance that I was given to be on this earth. And I was experiencing at the time a lot of survivor's guilt, because it just didn't really make sense to me at the time. And sometimes it still doesn't, if I'm going to be completely honest. Why I lived through something so horrendous, but other people who in my life had a more untimely passing, why that was their path and their story. And it brought up a lot of questions for me, and questions around my path and my purpose and what I was here for and what I was supposed to be doing. And I was a pretty young lady at the time. And I think that's really shaped a lot of my adulthood, of why it matters so much to me to open myself up more and more to receiving love and connection and being fully present and being fully in the moment and engulfed in life, because things just aren't promised. And 47 keeps showing up as well. Things aren't promised, and I don't know. So what my therapist at the time told me was that if you found yourself in the thickest fog, the most dense fog you could imagine, and it was dull and it was gloomy and you couldn't see beyond your fingertips if you reached your arm out. And I do encourage you to just go ahead and stretch your arm out in front of you. And, what I was kind of feeling into in the last reading was what if that's really all we can see? What if, being fully here in the present moment, literally right in front of our eyes, right here in our physical bodies, instead of being in our minds and thinking into the past and thinking we know what's going to happen in the future and thinking how things are supposed to be and what they're supposed to look like? What if we really had this mindset of I can only be right here and right now. I can only be as far as my arm stretched out in front of me. And what she told me was, if you could only see that far out, if you just take a step, now you see as far out as your hand in a new direction. And if you take another step, then you'll see as far out of your hand in that direction. And as long as you keep taking steps and moving forward, and this is where I got emotional in my last reading as well, as long as you're taking those steps and moving forward, then you're on your path and you're going in the right direction. And just one step at a time is sometimes all you really actually have to do. And like, again, if we want to feel like we know the outcome, if we want to feel like we're in control of, everything in life, and we can predict how things are going to turn out, then we can often feel like very scared and lost and powerless when we have these moments of uncertainty and not really knowing how things are going to turn out. And that's when number 17 shows up to just encourage us that no matter what that really looks like for you, no matter what direction you're heading in, you're on the right path. So have patience. It's okay to pause and rest and be still. Oh, good morning. Hi. Hi, baby. Oh, he's gonna sit right here. Okay. As long as you're listening to what feels good and right, and as long, you don't even have to be doing that, you can, oh gosh, this old man. Woke up starting to wreak havoc. It is our path to have free will. So if you are, allowing yourself to just embrace that you're on the right path, and maybe this journey of yours is fated after all, and when you take your hands out of the mix and just trust and open up to the idea that no matter what, you're on your right path, that's a really beautiful place to be, but you still also always have the freedom of choice. And this is what I was going to share before, was like, it is our choice to make mistakes. Like, it is our choice to act out in ways that we know might not be for the greatest good of all things, and we can also make choices to, do the cycle over again and recycle experiences, if you will. That is like our free will. Like, that is our freedom to choose, but at the end of the day, we'll still be having to learn those karmic lessons that ultimately add to our growth and to our enlightenment and to our involvement. And it has to also be our free will to let it. So the cards here, plain as day, you're on this journey, and it might feel like, mountains might be turned, or molehills might be turned into mountains, or maybe the obstacles in front of you at hand feel mountainous, but card right next to it says never give up. Just don't give up. And there's a lot of healing that comes from that sort of mindset, and when you operate in that space, and if you're just gonna keep going, keep moving forward, there's a lot of grounding that needs to be done right now, a lot of finding stability, maybe feeling like you need an anchor, and you're not really sure, things look dicey. Maybe things look dicey, you're not sure if you want to take a chance on certain things. Let me pull some more cards, and then I'll let you go because you've been with me for a while. So I have a lot of clarifiers here around a specific energy, and honestly, if you're kind of feeling like, am I on the right path? Where am I supposed to go? What am I supposed to do? Right now, it's really important for you to be connecting with what feels good to you as far as like what your intuition is showing you, because that's how you stay on your path. But right now, it seems like there's some frozen energy, maybe wanting to stay home, just feelings around a home. And it might feel like there's a long journey ahead of you, challenges ahead of you. There's things involving distance. Their card distance came out. This distance could be physically, emotionally, mentally, and then right underneath it came out, I can go the distance. Challenges, making a decision to work on inner healing, right? And that's what we said, like, as long as you're moving forward, and not even moving forward, it's just like as long as you're just going one step at a time, like that's really what you need right now. Give it time is literally the card that's right next to it. So everything in divine timing, right? That's what we were just talking about. That's what the card says. Give it time. Everything in divine timing. Okay, so 1 foot at a time, give things time, let things start to find their flow. There's this feeling of throat space that needs to be either opened up, or something that was like verbally put out into the world. There might have been something that was making us feel a little maybe disassociated, because what I'm seeing is like we're kind of like distance ourselves from the truth, and pulling away from our inner truth. And 17 is showing up to let you know, like, you're always on your path, like, so this is your truth, like what your path is your truth. And we have some indicators here for 111, 57, 67, really asking for you to focus on doing the inner work and healing, planting seeds for your healing. There's the 2 signs that showed, or actually 3 signs that showed up: Pisces, Sagittarius, and Capricorn. Somebody could be dealing with father wounds right now, feeling like there's some healing around that needs to show up, in order to kind of find a little bit more of that stability in where you're going, what choices you're taking, feeling like you can take chances, because right now it feels like it's just not the right time. And I'm here to tell you that you can absolutely come back to this situation at a later date. The full moon and the new moon are significant. We have a full moon on the 13th of March, and then we'll have a new moon later on in the month. And these might be kind of road markers, if you will, because it definitely seems like we're on, like the whole theme of 17 is like you're on the right path. So you're on this journey, you're on this path, and these moons are like lighting the way. And that was a message that came through in another reading that I did recently. And the moons are lighting the way, and they're also like these road markers of like things that might be important for you. Prayers are going to be answered. Eagle medicine is now one of my symbols and is showing up here in this reading. Prayers will be answered around, whatever it is that you're really wanting for your path moving forward. There's a lot of fear, though, around like what chances to take and what things to do next, what things to commit yourself to. Things might be feeling really serious, and that might be really scary. And there's just a real need to ground yourself in this time and find stability, which is represented here by a red brick home and a big front door. And there's this feeling of like something going on with like a third party energy that might contribute to this fear. This could be a Capricorn. Again, we had Pisces and Sagittarius also show up. And this requires you to let go and let God. Let go of this fear of moving forward. Let go of this fear around what chances to take, because you already know this. Some of you might have been listening to some of my readings I did a while back, and it was all heart space stuff, right? And it was all like chances in love, like chances around heart things, chances around healing the heart, chances around like just things that matter to you are always like worth the risk, like worth rolling the dice. Fuzzy dice is here to show us this as a symbol. And it's got 8 on the dice, which is the infinity symbol, meaning like you can look at things as a cycle if that's what you want to. And this was coming through in another previous reading, so maybe you're someone who's been listening along, or maybe, this is just the collective vibe right now, which seems like that's the case. You can look at it as a circle, like just over and over and over again. You're in this loop, and you can't get out of this loop. Or you can look at it as an infinity symbol and recognize that you are somebody who's learning how to ride the highs and lows and those waves of life, and like find yourself like in your infinite potential of just navigating those things. And instead of feeling like you're spiraling or in this circle over and over again, you're in an infinite loop of potential and growth and healing and recovery, and experiencing the low points in life and the hardships, and also knowing that you can come back from those things, and you can, there's just always more to this journey and to this story. There's indications here that maybe you've been looking back on like loving moments, things involving the heart space, things involving maybe like a date night or a conversation around a table. And it just seems like there was just a lot of love in this experience. It was like looking eye to eye. I don't know. I can't explain it. It's like sitting across from one another. Just like a feeling of like sitting down and looking like very directly at one another and just feeling a lot of like love and a lot of acceptance and a lot of appreciation. And you might even feel like you were put under like a spell, or it was like at some point in this experience on your path, like you might feel like, how could I possibly feel this good and then feel this low? Like this doesn't, you know what I mean? But the cards are saying that, you know, whatever that conversation was, whatever you were sitting down with that person and that moment that stuck out to you is really holding a lot of answers for, you know, what you can take chances on. There's a reason you keep looking back on this. There's a reason you keep thinking about these things. Communicate is the card that comes out with it, and it's saying compromise, forgive, and work it out. So whatever your situation is, maybe you need to have more conversations in order to feel like you know what steps to take forward or know what to do next. But again, you know, when you don't really know what direction to head in, or you're feeling frozen, or you're feeling like you need to just revisit this at a later time, just let go and let God, okay? And remember that your prayers will be answered. And also this indication here that says, even here, even now. And this is a line from a beautiful song that I love. And the words are, and it's, you know, a spiritual song, and it's like, if he's done it before, he can do it again, even here, even now. He's faithful to the end, you know, and that's just so beautiful. It's been stuck in my head for like the last couple of days, and I just keep thinking, like, even here, even now, like, even in this breakdown, even when things seem so bleak, even when, you know, I feel so frozen personally, and I don't know exactly where I'm going to end up next. Even here, even now, I'm on the right path, and miracles can show up, and beautiful things can come from this, and I'm broken open, so I know that there's all this room now for expansion. And even though I might be grieving, and even though I might be feeling, I don't even know, just having my moments of like complete low and like raw, real, powerful, painful even emotions, like I am still on the right path. And even here, even now, like things can still be beautiful and ultimately find healing. There is healing to be found here for us, friends. So this reading ended up being a little bit longer than I thought it was going to be, but I think I covered everything, and I still can't believe that glitch happened before. That was wild. But probably necessary, because I was getting into my feels, into my emotion. So I'm going to spend some time just really rooting and grounding myself and, you know, coming back to 12-12, coming back home, you know, to me and to some things that I was feeling the last time I kind of needed to come back to my family's house and like recenter and realign and just
remember who I not only was, but who I am and who will always be. And I needed to really consciously carve out the time and space to do that, and I'm just gonna honor that that's what I feel like I need to do right now, as well as, keep up with all my obligations and responsibilities. But yeah, this is truly a healing journey that we're on, friends, and I'm wishing you all the best and all of my lovin'.